Well, hello there, fellow geeks and geekettes, and welcome to another video. One of my latest videos was about my worst comic book experience of 2021, and that was when I read Superman Red and Blue, issue 1, and I got to the page where Superman Kal-El was raped. And I actually made a video about that a few days before it blew up on the internet. I don't know why it blew out on the internet like a year after it came out, but never mind. So I thought I would make a video about my best comic book experience as well. Now it needs a short introduction. I have been catching up to my reading material for a long time now. Both the mainstream comics, the good old stuff, of course, back issues. I'm not reading the modern stuff, or much of it anymore. And of course the independent scene as far as Comicsgate goes mainly. And it was actually this Christmas, 3 weeks ago, when I finally got to read John Malin's and Mark Poulton's Graveyard Shift. I've got this collected volume of, books 1 and 2. And I finally got around to it, and I couldn't be more excited for a couple of reasons. Now, I come from an academic background. Of course, I couldn't stay at academia because I'm not a left-leaning SJW social justice warrior, and I'm a straight white guy. As they say, I'm a cis guy, so I can't really stay at academia unless I would, lie about myself. But my background is English literature, the old English literature, the oldest English literature. But one of my favorite kinds of literature is horror, fantasy, and I also love horror films, especially the Universal Studios monsters and Alfred Hitchcock and the 80s slashers. But I also love comic books, the American comics from the 70s, 80s, and the 90s mainly. 90s comics are my thing. And this combines it all. The elevator pitch of this book sums it up. It's what if the Universal monsters were the X-Men? Now, it's not as easy, as simplistic as it sounds, and it's good. I will get to the artwork later, but let me first talk about the story by Mark Poulton and John Malin. Mark Poulton was the guy who wrote the script. It's very cleverly written, in that it's not one-to-one representation of the Universal monsters, right? We meet characters like Harker and Van Helsing, and we meet Dracula. We meet, or really not Dracula. His name is Professor Blood, I think, or Blood. But there is Castle Dracula. It's not what you think it is. It's more like, really, again, a mashup between the Universal monsters, or Bram Stoker's Dracula, and the X-Men. Because really, the Castle Dracula isn't a castle, an actual castle in Transylvania, but, something similar to what Magneto had as his, base of operations above the skies, or in the skies. And it's so cleverly written, and it's so beautifully combines both the things that I love, both the classic old monsters like the monster, Frankenstein's monster, and the bride. I mean, they are one of the members of the Graveyard Shift, the superhero team, and they cooperate so cleverly. And when you combine this with John Malin's art and the very good inks and the beautiful coloring, you have exactly what you want from comic books, which is not provided to you by Marvel or DC or any other mainstream comic book publishers today. You have fun. And that's what I want from a comic book. If I wanted to read, a socio-political book that would at the same time be sci-fi or dystopian literature, I would read 1984 by George Orwell, right? I would read something else. But if I want to take a break from heavier stuff, if I just want to have fun, if I want to enjoy a little bit of escapism here and there, I read The Graveyard Shift. Now you can see the beautiful artwork by John Malin, who is at least was at the first volume, quite obviously inspired by his mentor, Rob Liefeld, which I love, because I am one of the people who love the artwork of Rob Liefeld, both his old and his newer stuff. I mean, his X Factor. You know, look at that. So this is the bride, right? I don't want to talk about the story very much. I never talk about the stories when I make video reviews about stuff, because I want you to enjoy it for yourselves. Let's just, suffice it to say that if you are a fan of literature in general, if you are a fan of comics, if you're a fan of the old Universal monsters, look at that. If you're a fan of that might have been a spoiler. I told you there wasn't a Dracula. Well, never mind. I might have just spoiled something. Forget it. So if you're a fan of all these things, Graveyard Shift by Mark Poulton and John Malin combines it all. And if you want to support independent creators who do not stick their political agendas under your noses, who clearly are talented and not know what they're doing, know everything about the comic book medium, know everything about storytelling, about writing, about drawing, get this. I mean, I'm not sure if you can get this easily now, maybe somewhere on eBay, but I know that John Malin's got a sign up for Graveyard Shift 4, and I'm quite sure, I'm quite confident that when they launch the campaign on Indiegogo, like older volumes will be available again. So I do recommend you get all the volumes available, and it, as always, with every other Comicsgate campaign, there will be many, perks and tchotchkes and little gifts, just, little prints and trading cards, and they're always good. It's always nice to get something extra. I only wish they made action figures, the same way Ethan Van Sciver is making his Cyberfrog toys, or Patrick Thomas Parnell is making his Johnny Phantasm action figures, because clearly, as you can see, I'm quite a fan of toys and statues. So, once again, if you're a fan of fun and entertainment, this will be a book for you. And it was especially good for me, and it was my best comic book experience of the last year, because it combined everything, or not everything, but a lot of things that I myself have loved my entire life. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you have read The Graveyard Shift by John Malin and Mark Poulton, or if you're going to read it, and what was the latest comic book you read. I want to hear all about it. So with that, thank you, John Malin, thank you, Mark Poulton, for providing me with a lot of fun. That will be all. Thank you very much for watching, and bye.